It's been almost 20 years since the band signed with Fat Wreck. Did anybody ever imagine that it would last as long back then?
I think when the band started, I wasn't in the band then, but I don't know if they ever thought they'd ever leave Santa Barbara. So.
Yeah, when you start the band, you don't really think that you're going to get signed and get to travel so much. So it's been pretty good for being around so long too. A lot of other bands that we've taken on tour in the past, aren't bands anymore.
Yeah.
Or a lot of them are getting back together now because I guess they have fans that want to see them now after 10, 13 years.
Or they have kids the fans have kids that want to see them.
There's been, in those 20 years, there's been a few lineup changes. Do you think they've had a big effect on the band? Obviously, like yourself coming in, you weren't there at the start. Do you think that's made a change?
For sure. When I replaced Ken Stringfellow, I think that was probably a big change, but he was only in the band for one tour. And I don't know if he was the proper
replacement for Sean Dewey. It was kind of a nightmare, but yeah, things change.
Yeah.
Drummers have different styles, and Jesse was the last one to leave, so now we have Little Joe. He's definitely a different style of bass player.
But he's been playing with Dave and me and Flip for years. I've known him for 20, 30 years or something.
Yeah, a few times you've all taken a break from Lagwagon and worked on various other things. What's it like when you all get back together to work with Lagwagon again?
Just pretty much start where we left off. It's not really a big deal. I mean, we've been doing it for so long. It's like going to visit your grandmother or something.
Yeah. Back in the 90s, a lot of other punk bands were about the same time signed for major labels, whereas Lagwagon never have. Was there ever any sort of temptation to sign for a major, or did you always just want to stay independent?
I don't think there's offers these days for punk bands to be on majors, but there was some opportunities in the 90s and we didn't take them because Fat Records was being so good to the band.
Do you ever regret not taking the offers for the majors?
No, because it seems that the bands that did take the offers from the majors, once a major label doesn't see a profit in you anymore, they just kind of shelf your band and you lose interest. And then a lot of these bands, make it so big they aren't able to go back down.
Yeah, it definitely seems like bands like Lagwagon, maybe Rancid as well, that never signed for a major, they seem to last longer than the bands that maybe went for the big money.
Yeah, because in the early 2000s the scene wasn't that strong, so the shows were small and we didn't really care, it was just shows and playing to the same people we played to for the last 10 years. So it's been pretty good to stay on an independent. And Fat's kind of one of the last, real independent label.
What do you think it is about punk bands like yourselves that made you outlast every other band that's been about since the 90s?
I didn't understand the question.
Well, punk bands kind of like yourselves, like Lagwagon has been about 20 years now, whereas in the 90s there was millions of other bands who they're not there anymore. What is it you think makes bands like yourself last?
I don't know, not having children.
No, just the fact that people still want to see the band is a good reason to stay together. And we're all friends and we still enjoy doing it, usually. So.
Looking back at when you first came through, it seems as though the US punk scene, especially on the West Coast, is really thriving. How would you say that compares to the scene now?
I'm not involved in the scene. I don't even know if there is a scene now, but there's a lot less places to play, at least where I live now, it seems like.
There's definitely like a new scene.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Not so much ours anymore.
Yeah.
Because our fans are old now and have real jobs and children. But I go to all these newer shows and there's still kids. They don't look like the punks of the 90s. They look more like dirtbags or heshers, I call them. But the music's fast and there's pits and people are jumping off balconies and shit. So they're still seeing.
Yeah. Do you feel separated from what you call the new scene? Do you think you guys are kind of a completely separate thing now? Or do you think there's still a link between? yourselves and them, put it into two camps?
There's a little, some of the kids, you know, like I guess older music,
Yeah.
you know, but the majority of them like new music.
Yeah.
It's kind of like when you're a kid, you didn't want to listen to Led Zeppelin or something.
Yeah.
It was like your parents' music.
Yeah. A few years back, Joey said that he wasn't sure if there would ever be another full-length Lagwagon album or a big tour. Does that still stand, or have things changed now?
I think it'd be a good idea to put one out. I don't know if it will happen, but I'd say there's a good chance it will.
It's just kind of weird the way music's changed now. Everything's downloadable, so I don't know if a full album's necessary, but it is.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah, a lot of bands just release one song at a time now.
Yeah.
That's all you need to do.
but that doesn't seem very feasible as far as, you know, going in the studio just to record one song.
And just finally, do you see Lagwagon as something that will always be in your life? Like, could you ever say we're done with this band completely, or do you think it'll always be there?
Well, I have it tattooed on my back, so it'll always be there.
I don't know if it'll always be there. It seems to be. So far the boat hasn't hit the rocks. It's come close to shore a couple times.
Yeah.
But we're still sailing on.
Yeah. Yeah, that's all. That's all I was wanting to say. So,
Okay, yeah, thank you.